I have my support network is something in terms of life. I have Jesus, and I realize that Jesus is somebody who I admire, and I just follow Jesus because I see Jesus' habits. And when I realize that it's because when I look at what he's done in life, I realize it's just, that's the whole point of living. And it's really his habits and how he really lives. And I never follow anybody else. I never follow anybody else because everybody else believes they know it. And it's really that Jesus is really so inspirational for me because he just inspires me to live life in a greater way. So when I make sure that I'm a person who's growing in terms of life, I realize that I just go and follow his path because everybody else is always leading me astray. I realize that in life, I realize that Jesus never hurt me, and that way I can be a better person for it. I realize that I am so inspired by Jesus' story. I realize that person never hurt anybody, and they put him in jail. I realize they whipped him. I realize they killed him for no reason. I realize everybody was chucking rocks at him while he was a person forgiving, and he was allowing it. And he came here to give the story of the truth and all of that. I realized that no matter what, in the Bible, I delay gratification. I realized that it's really true about what happens when you say it's that you must have sex after marriage. Because many people today, as you see, they're always just going around. And you're a person in that nature, you're going to be promiscuous, and you're going to be a person who falls into the wrong hands. I mean, there's no wrong or right in life, although you'll fall into the life of, let's say, where you're wasting time. And you're never wrong nor right about what you've done in life, although it's about really being a better person in a way that you have more time. And when you're going around and investing your time in people who never grow you, I mean, that's the worst way to increase your time in this world, because you only have so much of it. So make sure that you cherish it. Make sure that you cherish your time, because that way you can be a better person. You can do something productive. You can be something greater. And that way, no matter what, I do have mentors that I follow who give me ideas. I realize that those people do inspire me because of the ideas they give me. And then I realize that when I may follow them, I realize they update me about business mindset and all of that. Although Jesus would do that. I mean, Jesus does that the best. And I realize that nobody else can even compete with Jesus. I mean, Jesus is far more today than everybody else. And you understand that, for example, in terms of Jesus, I make sure that I use him as a compass. So I realize that many people need real estate in life. I realize that Jesus will never ever own anything of this world. I realize that I just go follow Jesus' path because I have mentors who have many real estates in the world. I realize those people are really, let's say, going for the cash flow and making the money. And I realize that Jesus will never even make money in this world. And I realized that it's never about the money. So I realized that Jesus never charged for his work. I realized I follow Jesus. I never charge for my work. I give free value. I realized the Bible has no dollar price on it, because those people who put a dollar price on it in terms of online are people who are screwing Jesus. You understand? So it's really, I realize it's really that you understand that anything that's in this world that you own, I realize that you're going to let it go when you pass away. I mean, you're a person who's never passing away. You're just going to a better world. And as Jesus said, that there is a better world than this. So you're just a person here to get, I mean, you're getting tested each and every day. So when you're a person who is around people such as, you're in a workplace at the moment, you have to realize that you be kinder, and you will get yourself out of that circumstance. Because if you're not kinder, you're worse. And you have to understand that you need to go and improve those people around you. And that way you're lifting, and you're never fake about it. I mean, fake people will never lift you. I mean, I've been lifting you in this phone call since we began. And that's the whole point of a true friend, because those people who never lift you are really, let's say, fake with you. I realize that I'm a person who's just growing. I'm always showing you exactly what I'm saying in terms of my communication. And I get my message across that I realize that I get my message across that I'm a kinder human person. And those people who never talk with you as much as I do, I promise you, those people are never ever going to lift you. You have to understand that no matter what, that people can lift you. I mean, many people can lift you, although you have to understand that my communication style and how I speak, you compare it with other people. I promise you, when you compare it, you'll understand how much more you can get in terms of how much more smarts you can get. And I realize how much more of a lift you can get when you're around these kind of people in terms of how I speak. I realize I hang around with those people. I never hang around with slow people who say the slurry and the durry. I never go around those people because they're using slang, and I realize they don't know how to communicate. So I never go around those people. I don't know how to communicate, although I communicate better than yesterday. I see how I communicate, and there's a difference between what you know and what you see. I mean, those people who know it, I mean, they're blind because they never see it. I realize I see it, and therefore I never know it. Because, I mean, what I see is what I can never label. I don't know what my shoulder bag is. I mean, I realize they call it a shoulder bag. I realize it's never a shoulder bag. I realize it's something beyond this world. I can never describe this world. I mean, what the ego is that the ego labels everything of this world. And what cannot be labeled cannot be priced. So you can never label this world, because that way you're going to grow spiritually. I mean, this world's separated because we have an ego, and the ego is in the mind. And when you're a person who's really, let's say, coaching people and you're lifting them, I mean, as Albert Einstein said, you read more and more throughout daily life, you also have a smaller ego. And also, when you're reading throughout life, you're actually coaching people, and you're actually giving a talk, and you're actually, let's say, being compassionate in a way that you're helping others grow, although you're helping yourself grow the most in that communication. Otherwise, that's the whole point of living, that you, let's say, decrease your ego so that you never be separate and that you never feel separate from other people. And that way you're going to expose yourself, as we talked about in terms of Rihanna and how she exposes herself, because she just gets out there, and that's the whole point of being in the spotlight. And in order for you to do so, you have to unblock yourself to do that. You have to be a person who can be able to do that. So how do you do that? You start first with your story, and you start to develop your talents within your story. And your story is a massive one. You've lived a life. I promise you, a little baby can say how to do a story. And we are all babies. I mean, many people call themselves adults. I mean, some people call themselves very old. I mean, they ask the question about how old are you? I never ask the question, how old are you? I just say, what is your age? Because for me, in terms of life, I never even ask the word, what is your age? I just go that everybody's age is in this moment, and it's really, what are their habits? Are they really doing better than yesterday? Or are they people who have no social medias, and are they really someone successful? So I'm always asking better questions. And as John C. Maxwell says in terms of his book, Great Leaders Ask Great Questions, I mean, those people who do that kind of work are the ones who are going to lead, and the ones, are ones who are going to be successful in their endeavor. You need to be that type of person who's never drifting off. You never drift off. I'm always better than the ego. I'm always making sure I can communicate, and it's really been a pleasure to speak with you. I do have a biological father here who is my next close in kin, because he's the closest to me. So when they say the next kin, I mean, I realize that it's really who is closest to you next. I mean, in terms of distance, I realize that those people are going to be your next kins. I realize that there is no such thing as those people who I have overseas in terms of my family in Serbia. I mean, they are never my next of kin, because my biological father is closer to me in Australia. And you understand that is all I have at the moment in terms of life. I have something greater. I have something greater in life, although I have my biological father here, and I thank God I do have a biological dad in life. Although I understand that I now am in Brisbane and he's in Australia in terms of Sydney. I realize that he is a person who, let's say, he was smoking in life and he had some bad habits, and I picked up on it. I realized that when you're a bad role model, your kids are also going to become like you. So you always have to make sure you're bettering yourself. So when you're talking about people, just make sure you're talking about how they really are, and that way you're going to be positive about them. I mean, you speak about the goods and bads of them because you see about what they are, and you speak about them in what they are. You never say lies about them, and you never speak to them, or you never speak about them you never speak about them in a negative way. You speak about them in a positive way. That is what you see. I mean, when that person is smoking cigarettes, you never lie and say that person never smokes cigarettes, because you understand that you would be a hypocrite. And the whole point of life is to be an integrity person who is really leadership quality. So be a person who can really fathom to speak about people in a way that is going to lead them, and you lead them in a way that you speak about them for how they are. And when people deny how they are,
I realized that those are the right and wrong people, and you never be around them. I realized my biological dad has been around since 1987, and I've been around after 6 years of that. So I'm now in the moment. Although I am never aftermath. I just realized that I'm just a person who has a greater life. I realized that in this moment, I just can say that no matter what in life, it's just about this moment. And I realized that those people who, let's say, they mention a year in life. You just need to be a person who is just living in the moment, and that way you'll be more spiritual. I have nothing to confuse you about. I realize that it's more that I am a better person than yesterday. I've got nothing to, let's say, talk negatively about anybody. I realize it's more that I really respect myself, and I realize I respect myself more than yesterday. So, I mean, that's the whole point of life. I realize that those people who are talking bad about other people are the ones who are dying. I'm growing, so I never speak about people in a delifting way. I realize I uplift them. I only uplift people. I realize that when you're speaking about people and you uplift them only, I realize that you never gossip about them. I realize that the only thing that you really have to learn about me is that I'm growing up, and those people in terms of life, you understand the person when you look at them. I realize, are they going up or down? I realize that you just go around with the people who are going up. You have no reason to go and sit with a homeless person all day. I realize that those people are going down, and I realize that you'll be bored. I realize that when you're around people who are traveling the world and doing business, I realize that those people are more positive. I just realize it all in the moment. I am a person just growing. I'm a person who just goes and seeks out the information first, and then I go and apply what's been given. I realize that nobody's going to help your life, so you have to realize that you need to start doing something today in terms of communication and better communication skills, because you see many public speakers and you see the WWE wrestlers and all these wrestlers going up in front of people, and they have to speak on the microphone, and you have to be talented, otherwise you're going to be boring. So be a person who can speak on the microphone and electrify the people with your communication, because that way people are going to be intense in your face, and that's the whole point of living. I just been in Brisbane for about a month, so it's been my first. I realize it's my second time here in Brisbane, although I've been totally in a month of my life over here, and it's just a moment. My whole life is just one moment. I realize that 100 years of this life is one moment. I realize that 10,000 BC happened today. I realize that Jesus died today. I realize that also the dinosaurs were here today. I realize that dinosaurs died today. I realize that Brisbane is always better because it's never about the traveling that I love. I love the communication and the growth within the travel. Many people are traveling and dying. I realize they're going to Budva in Montenegro, which is a nice place and a beautiful place out there, where I've never been there, although they're just partying for the summer. I realize they're just going there to party, and it's never about the party. I realize that many people are going and traveling the world and dying. I realize that I met a lot of people around hostels around here. I realize they're never growing. I realized they're traveling. I realized they're never growing. I realized they've got suitcases and everything. I realized I just carry myself on a plane. I just carry 4 kilos. I just carry the clothes I have on me. I carry my electronics. I realized that it's really the growth within the travel that is the best experience. I've traveled so far. I've been traveling, so I've just managed to, no matter what, just keep it up, and I've just been able to do better than yesterday. And I'm just always curious about more of life and how I can get around and how I can do better in life. I realized that when I set myself up for traveling, I realized that it's really about never go back. I realized that no matter what, I am always a person who is lifting, and I just keep to my career. I keep growing, and no matter what life throws at me, I mean, somebody may leave me and destroy me or whatever, although I'll never allow myself to be destroyed because I grow, and people are going to try to criticize you, and life is going to throw challenges. I mean, life's going to hit you, and you have to be able to be resilient and grow from that. And that's the part of traveling. And when you're traveling in terms of life and you're going around the world and you're lifting people around the world, you realize that it's really that you be a better person. And if you're not developing around the world, you're actually going to go backwards. So my whole goal is just be better than yesterday, and that's my only vision. I was in Sydney. I was visiting my biological dad, and I was just with him. I was there doing some motivational work. I realized that once I seen my biological dad, I was very happier. I was actually happier because at that time I was still growing, and I'm still growing now. I realized that no matter what, I am a person who always watches my communication, and it's really, let's say, when Sydney, in terms of life, and when you're in life, you just have to be a person who's always living in the moment. You never talk about the past and what happened. You just be a person who's really focused on your growth more than you are other people, and you realize that when you're looking in the past, you look in the past to grow only. You can see that it's just that I always develop myself in a way that I increase my skills. So I increase my skills, as Jim Rohn said, that you must increase your skills to build your fortune, because if you're working on a 5 job, they have nothing planned for you. You understand that no matter what, that those people around you will never plan your life. I mean, they'll never walk your life. I mean, they'll never talk your life. I mean, they'll never do anything for you. I realize the only person that can teach you anything, I mean, I can give you these ideas, although you have to go and apply them. And you have to go and teach, you have to go and teach yourself how to communicate. You have to teach yourself how to do a lot. You have to teach yourself everything in life. I mean, for example, Tony Robbins, he has a nice, beautiful documentary that says, "I'm not your guru." And I realized that no matter what, that nobody else can teach me anything about life. I realized that everything comes from inside. So, I mean, all love is inside. And when you're seeking for love, I mean, you never seek it outside of yourself. I mean, you never seek it in me. I realized that you never seek it in other people, because everybody else is going to disappoint you, including me, because you have certain criteria and abilities where you need something. I mean, you have to fulfill that for yourself. I cannot fulfill that for you. I mean, I can do anything. I can give you the ideas on how you can do that, although you have to understand that you never block yourself in terms of that you cannot do something. You understand that you just look inside for what you need, and that you never seek love outside of yourself, because love is, I realize that love is an inside job, as somebody else said. Inside the Bible, they said that in terms of Jesus, I realized he said, respect your temple, which is your body. And you see 99% of the world is drinking caffeine, and they're doing cigarettes, and they're drinking sugar and sweet, and eating candy, and they're eating all these food. And in the Bible, it says, thou shalt not kill. And you understand that you never kill a person, and you never kill a non-human animal either, because that testament stands for non-human animals also. And you understand that Jesus never killed a non-human animal. I realize my business is an inside job, so I work on myself daily, and that's my whole business. I realize my whole business is just to help people grow. I realize I don't care about the money, I don't care about the government, I don't care about this world. I do it for something greater. I do it for Jesus. I just follow Jesus. I realize that once I better myself, I realize I give it for free. I walk free. I realize that once you walk for free and you work for free and you're always giving and you're always kind and you're always compassionate, I realize that's the work. I realize that's the business. I understand that I just look inside. I realize that it's really that I just better myself on a daily basis. I realize that I never ever go into the government and what they need and what they want, because it's really what I need to succeed. I realize that it's never about the outside world and what they want. I never care about their rules. I only follow the Jesus rules. I realize that my whole laws in life are never what the outside people of this world want and need. I realize I go do something greater than that. I mean, I just do my business. I just make sure that I'm growing. I realize that no matter what, I'm a person who does solve every question in the book. I realize that there is no laws in life. Although I understand that when there is something that is required of me, I realize that I go do what's best for me. I mean, everything. I will say that everything I do in life, I do it for something greater. I never do it for me. I will say that. I will say that when I do it for something greater, I have nothing to worry about. I'm not a person who is scamming. I'm not a person who's taking anybody's money. I realize that it's really that I just grow as a person and I just develop myself, and that's the key to happiness. Where you can look inside, and that's my only greatest joy. I can say that no matter what, that happiness in terms of when you write it down and you're always better than yesterday in terms of your communication, you're doing something around your mentality, you're doing something around your life in terms of spirituality, and you're making sure that you can get away from a 9-to-5 job, you're making sure that you can do something much greater than who you are. I realize that that is the whole point of living. You have to understand that no matter what, that it's never about the 9-to-5 job and where you are now. I realize that I need you to be better. I need you to be someone greater than where you are. Because the whole point of life is go and lead 10,000 people in a seminar or something of that nature. Because no matter what, you may be a person who loves art. You have to understand when you love art, you go and teach people how to do art in front of 10,000 people. You go teach people something that's going to really be successful, and that way you're going to stay successful when you're around success. When you're around successful people and you're around success, you're going to build your confidence. You're going to be a courageous person. You're going to be able to communicate. You're never going to let the people in the outside world determine your life, because you are always going to go and do what's best for you. I realized that I have no outside employment in my life, because all of that employment that I did do never really mattered. I realized that it was just for the world and it never really helped anyone. I realized that all of that outside world drama in terms of the 9-to-5 jobs in the world, I realized that they are just there to make money. I realized they're just making money. I realized they're working for slaves. I realized that it's never that they're working for slaves. I realized they're working for money. I realized that many people are stuck today in the rat race, and I realized they're stuck in the 9-to-5 job because they're the ones who, let's say, are told what to do and all of that nature. I realized that it's never about being told what to do. I realized it's really about what is it in for you that you can do something greater than where you are. Because that, I realized that in that point, you can realize that those people who, let's say, work a 9-to-5 job have been told what to do. So I just never like to be told what to do. And I always find a way to make sure that I always succeed anyway. And I realize that when I dive into it, I make sure that nobody tells me what to do in life. I realize no matter what, I'm always the person who takes control. I realize that somehow, somewhere, I will leave. I'll make sure no matter what, I will go elsewhere. I realize I just change quickly. I change quickly in my life. I make sure no matter what, that I'm always around better people. I realized that the only actual passion that I do have in life is working inside. I realized that no matter what, that everything in the past, what I did do, I realized that it never really mattered to me. Although I did understand that no matter what, that I'm just a person who grows. Although there is many 9-to-5 jobs out there, and whatever I did over there in the 9-to-5 jobs never really worked for me. I mean, for example, when other people are telling you what to do and you never like the job and you're never doing it, I realize that it never really works for you. So make sure that you go do something we love. I realize that's the whole point. I realize what I love is to go inside. I realize the whole point is do positive work, and I do wisdom work. I do something. I realize I make a philosophy. I realize the philosophy must be better than yesterday, and it must be a successful one. I realize it must be something that's growing other people. I realize that it must be something that you can develop throughout time, and you have to develop that ability in you, and you have it in you right now. Although you have to start writing it out, and I realize that it's your story, and that is the whole business of my life. I realize that 9-to-5 job never gives out my story. I realize the 9-to-5 job just takes away my time. I realize it's more that I lead other people away from the 9-to-5 job, and that's what I do. I just make sure that they find a better way than what they're doing in a 9-to-5 job, because I've found a better way, and the better way is inside, and it's really growing your communication skills and journaling your story out and making sure you're doing something for the greater good and never for the world, because people who are working the 9-to-5 job are doing it for something of the world and of that nature. And it's really because somebody told them they must do it. I realize that no matter what, that you never let people control you, and you never let people tell you what to do. I currently stay at the Nomads Brisbane hostel in Brisbane. I at the moment live in the hostel. I realize I'll be staying here. I'll be staying here for next month, and then I realize after that I may go to Darwin. I have to go see Darwin. Although I have an audition over here, I have to start doing some street performances. I have to start lifting people. Although that's what I need to do, and I realized that it's just to get some attention so that I can realize that I can better my life and I can boost my confidence and my mentality and make sure that I can do better. I've never been to Darwin, so I don't know. I realized that I realized that at the moment I just have to stay here because I've got some better business to do. I realized that I may never go to Darwin. I don't know, because I realize that everything changes. I realize I do have goals. I have wishes, although my wishes are my needs today. I realize I just focus on my needs. I realize that when it gets to the point where I need to go Darwin, I may go. I realize that it's just a plan where I realize it's a goal. I realize it's a goal to go to Darwin. I realize I don't know if I'll make it. I realize the wishes are my needs. So it's really about invest money in my clothing, and invest money in my accommodation, and invest money in my technology that can help me do my work. I realize it's invest money into traveling and transport. I realize it's invest money into food and drink and into anything that's going to grow me in terms of, I have a online subscription plan where I give a certain amount of money to keep my database online in terms of everything, in terms of my content and live coaching. I have a website. I put all my content in this website, put it into my Instagram bio link. You can go and check my bio link also. I realized that you can go and check out my Instagram. I also have, for example, I give money I give it towards data, and I make sure to get the best discounts and the best deals. I make sure no matter what, I'm always investing in new clothing so that I can go and brand myself, and I make sure to invest in the best technology and in the best life possible, because no matter what, it's really never what the outside world is giving you in terms of life. I realize it's really what are you giving towards yourself that is really going to better your life, because anything outside that you are receiving is really that you receive it, and that you realize that you take ownership more to give more than what other people are giving you. I realize my medical health is always doing better because I'm always in my journal. I'm always developing my communication skills. I'm always maintaining my habits. So when you're a person who has so much energy, you're also staying away from 99,000 places in life and more. You'll understand that no matter what, you just go to the lifestyle that you need, and that's going to really work for you, because sometimes having 50,000 real estates right now in your life is never really the best thing to do, because how are you going to manage it all when you never learned how to do it, and also you never need it because you understand that Jesus will never do that. I mean, you can imagine Jesus having 100,000 real estates in life, and I realized that what is Jesus going to do? I realized that Jesus is going to put them into accommodation and that he's going to take some money from them. I realized that Jesus will never do that. And I realized that no matter what, I just go and follow Jesus' lifestyle, and what Jesus will do is what I'll do today. I only see Jesus. So I realize that Jesus is my doctor. I realize Jesus is my psychologist. I realize Jesus is my everything. So when I go to him, I realize that I can see the path of where I need to go. And no doctor is going to say that this pill is going to help your life, because all doctors do in life is they give you, I realize they give you prescription meds. And I realize that no matter what, that 20 meds and taking meds in life and taking 20 of them in a different way is never what Jesus will do for you. I realize that Jesus will never say for you to go and take all this medication and to work for money and to do anything negative in terms of poisoning your temple. You understand? So I realize that you just go and follow a better way, and it's really go and delay gratification. I realize it's more about delayed gratification, where you can be more in denial of negativity and never be around it. I realize that is why I have the 1 hour rule, which states that 23 hours, I realize that 23 hours of the day, I stay away from negativity. I realize I realize that no matter what, that I stay away from negativity all my life. Although when I go outside with other people, I just go around positivity all the time. Although you understand, when I go outside, I'll see negative people smoking around me. I'll see people doing drugs. I'll see people who are on the floor. I'll see people who are just negative around me. I realize that I stay away from them 23 hours of the day. I then go online. I go online and I just stay around positivity all day. I realize that 23 hours of the day I'm away from people, which are negativity. And I stay away from them because I understand that I'm not negativity, although I stay away from people who are negative. And I realize that once I go outside, I realize that I'll see negative people and I just stay away from them. I realize that I see positive people also, although I just go to the ones who are really beneficial. I realize there are many positive people, although the ones who are more successful than the rest, I go to them. I realize your support is just go and do what's going to be better for Jesus in terms of something greater. I realize that if you don't believe in Jesus, I realize that you just be greater than yesterday. I realize that is the best support that you can give me. I realize that no matter what, just be a person who leaves people on a positive term, and that's the way to be. I realize no matter what, that closure really means just do better. I mean, no matter what, you can just go into my Instagram, you can realize that you can go be more inspired, you can realize you can go into my bio link, you can go start coaching yourself. You can put my full name. You can put my full name, which is Daniel Milivojevic. You'll find me on Instagram. I'm born here. I'm born in Sydney. I just have a Brisbane license at the moment because I went to Cairns. I then made sure no matter what to get myself a license over there because I lost my stuff. I lost my passport. I lost all of that, so I do have my biological father in Sydney. I realised I just came to Brisbane just to be around Brisbane. I lost it. I lost the whole bag. I don't even know where I put it. Anyway, I'm still better than yesterday. I still learn from it. I realised that moment really helped me to learn. I am never a victim of life. I'm always growing. I'm never the ego. So I make sure no matter what, I'm always a person inspiring. I'm always a person encouraging people to grow. And I realize that no matter what, now since I do street performance, I realize now it's more get the attention. I realize get the 1 million followers. I realize get the 10 million followers. I realize now start to really develop something and build these massive seminars and start to really teach people all that I taught you here. And I realize that it's more about that. I realize that no matter what, you teach more anyway. And I realize that you can put life into one word and you can say, just go up. You have to progress. You have to do whatever it takes to succeed. So make sure that you always are available in a way that you're doing better in every single area of your life. I mean, if you can improve one area of your life, I promise you can improve all of your area. I promise you when you improve one area of your life, you can improve all of your areas of life, because one area that you improve is going to improve all other aspects of your life. So always go and learn 2% of everything in terms of every single topic in the planet, as Brian Tracy says. I realized that you go and learn 2% of that topic. I mean, be that type of person who goes and learns 2% of everything. I mean, go and learn 1% of everything and just be the number one in your life. I can do that. I can make sure that no matter what, you guys can call me. I realize that I can book an appointment with you. I realize that we can have another talk like this. I realize that this time I can make sure that I can tape from the start. I can realize I can record myself talking, because it's really about helping more people and never just one person. I can do it the earliest possible, because I never go later. I go the ones that are really sooner, because it's really about take action sooner. So let's do it sooner than later. I can do it. I thank you very much. I have no problem. I thank you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope that no matter what, you be more positive and you make sure that you get. I realize that you get yourself out of the 9-to-5 job. I thank you. I see you. I thank you. I'll say bye. You guys can understand now that no matter what, I had to record myself within 30 minutes of speaking with her. And it's really that I said a lot of information there that I could have helped you with. And I realized that I helped somebody, although I really helped myself in that moment. And it's really capture it, please. I mean, when you're having a conversation with somebody, make sure you capture the conversation with your, make sure that you're recording the conversation with other people so that you can really help other people in the process. I realize it's never just about helping one person. I realize help the world, inside and out. Understand? I mean, go inside and be that type of person who can lift the world in a better way. I'm just having a session here with myself to find out what's lacking here. I realize that as I speak here in the podcast, it's just for my growth. And when I grow, guys, just learn from it. I realize that I'll just continue my process. I realize that this is nice to say that it's a beautiful teaching where you can understand to go and teach yourself the same lines of theory based on what I do here. And this is a podcast, and I'm doing it in the night. And how I'm doing it is I have a video recording right now, although it's recording the darkness, and then I export the audio file, and that's how I get my audio podcast. I realize although what's lacking, Danny, I mean, Shyla Styles, I mean, she's lacking. I mean, I used to watch porn. I used to watch so much porn, and I have these beautiful women in my mind, and my mind's not even my mind. I realize that it's an ego. I realize I'm more than a mind. Although I'm not crazy, I realize that my ego is inside of me in terms of my I, although I understand I have to overcome the ego. And now I have to ask myself the question, who am I? I am something above this world. I realize that's the answer. I realize that is now everything that I need to say. I realize that now, since I do that, I realize what's lacking, Danny. I mean, you have to understand that I've got nothing to be embarrassed about. I lack so much. You're lacking, Danny. You're lacking people. You're lacking people. I'm lacking. I'm not lacking. I never need you to say that you're lacking. I need you to understand that you're lacking people. You're lacking porn. You're lacking masturbation. I need you to understand that you need to focus on the positive aspects of life in terms of what you are lacking first, so you can understand your problems in life. And your problems are the ones where you are creating the lack of your life.
So in order for you to overcome your problems, you need to look at your problems first. I realize I have to find out, what am I lacking? Because that is in my subconscious, and my subconscious mind is my ego. And now I realize that earlier, before this, I realized that I was lacking so much. And it's not that I'm lacking. I'm not lacking anything. I realize, although I affirm positivity, and it's really that I look into my feelings. I look into my feelings to say, I've got nothing to fear, I've got nothing to worry about, because my feelings are saying that I'm happier. Although the mind is lacking, and the mind needs pornography, and the mind, which is your ego, needs woman and any type of porn star, and your mind is always lacking something. I mean, I was lacking the ability before. I'm not lacking now, although I ask myself the question, what are you lacking, Danny? I mean, at the moment, I'm lacking nothing. I realize that I have to say that in order to never lack. I realize that's the whole point of positive affirmations. I realize that now you are lacking your ability to speak. Why are you like that? You have to understand that whatever you're doing whatever you're doing in that, you have to understand that you just let go and you speak. You have nothing to fear, you have nothing to worry about, and it's your ego that's trying to limit you. You're lacking what else? You're lacking the ability to go and get a Ferrari. I mean, that's what the kind of stuff that my mind gives me. I mean, I need no material possessions. I don't need a Ferrari to look good. I don't need a Ferrari to be my best version. I mean, what else are you lacking? I mean, what else are you lacking? You're lacking the ability to be with a woman. I mean, you don't need to be with them in the first place. I mean, do you see how I was finding out what do I lack, and then I mention it, and then I reaffirm that I never need that. And then that's how you actually overcome lack and build your confidence. I realize, Danny, now, what else do you lack? I have to find what I lack, and I use my feelings to go and look for it. I realize that I lack a woman. I never lack anything. You're lacking what? You're lacking your ability to convince people of integrity. And why is that? You feel that you've lost. You feel that you are ashamed of yourself. You feel that you are a nobody. I never feel that way. I feel amazing. I feel amazing. I realize that it's an illusion that the mind is playing. I realize that I feel amazing. How can I feel like a nobody when I feel so happy? I mean, I'm vibrating inside my emotions. My blood flow is happier than ever. I'm not a smoker. I'm drug free. I'm a vegan. I'm traveling. I have 7 months of free wealth and living. I can live for 7 months. I mean, how is that lack? I mean, there's no such thing as lack. Although, you have to understand, to go and lack anyway, in a way, that you're never saying that you're lacking. I'm never lacking. Although, you go and find what else you believe, which is your ego anyway. You are never believing your ego. Your ego lacks. You don't lack anything. Your ego and your mind lack everything. I have to record this podcast at the moment because that's how I do things now, and it's really to teach myself everything. I have to be selfish in this video. I mean, I have to be selfish in this podcast. I mean, selfishness in a way that I'm just focusing on me and I'm growing me. And now, is that selfish? I promise you that it's got nothing to do with selfishness. I promise you what's selfish is your ability to never teach anything. I mean, you're not teaching anybody anything. I mean, that's selfish. I mean, when you're going for selfish pleasures, when you're going for pleasures in life, that's selfish and it's not teaching anybody anything. I stay away from pleasure as much as I can. I don't know, because now I have to focus on myself. And there's no shame there. There's no shame. I don't feel shame about never talking about the audience. I don't care about the audience. I care about I. I care about I now. I need to speak I more. I need to speak with my I. I understand how I speak. I understand who I am. I understand I've made some problems before. I understand I've made mistakes. What mistakes, man? I'm better than yesterday. Do you understand? I've got nothing to fear. I have to speak my I intent more. I realize that I do have my journal. I realize that, guys, I'm just speaking with myself over here. I have to use my I intent over here. And it just states that I must use my I. I realize that it's a nice way for myself to do a podcast in the night, and I have a 1-bedroom dorm in Darwin at the moment. I realize that now, since I'm this way, I'm not selfish, because guess what? I'm learning from my own actions. I realize that my success speaks louder than words, and because of that, I realize it's because I'm doing better than yesterday all the time, and I'm recording my voice as much as I can. I'm filming myself as much as I can. I realize I lack nothing. I realize also that earlier today, I lacked my ability to be around people, and it's really that I thought that I needed to be around people. I never need to be around other people. I have to be around Jesus. Where is Jesus? I go there. I go where Jesus is. And now Jesus is in the communication and in the truth of life. And I have to make sure that whatever I do in life is going to relate to Jesus. I have to relate everything to Jesus. I promise you, I have to be this way so I can learn. I have to learn from every step of the way. I understand that I have to improve my confidence over here. I have to improve the person I am all day. I have to improve the person I am always. I have to get my selfie stick so that I can place my phone in the night right in front of my face, so I don't have to hold it up with my hand and my arm. So I use a selfie stick. I just went into my bag to get a selfie stick. I now have positioned my phone with a selfie stick, and I never have to hold my selfie stick with my hands up in the air to talk. I realize that now I have my selfie stick to do that, and I feel that I have a microphone because my selfie stick is holding my phone right next to my mouth. I realize now I don't feel selfish. I feel intentful. I feel amazing. I feel I lack nothing anymore. And why is that? Because I'm talking. I'm doing something productive. I'm doing something to speak. I'm doing something to just learn. I lay down and I speak with myself like this. And I understand that I have to record it too. I realize that I understand I have some flaws. And what flaws do I have? I'm better than yesterday. It's a mistake to say that you have flaws. It's stupid to say that you're stupid. Don't be a person who's calling yourself negative. I realize that I lacked so much before. Why am I so happy now? I realize that I've spoken out some insecurities about myself. That's all I've done. I realize that I'm honest about that. I can see that I'm learning something around this. I'm not perfect, although guess what? I am perfect. I'm better than perfect now. I'm making sure that I'm always improving. I'm not staying perfect. I'm not a perfectionist. Do you understand? I'm not a perfectionist. I'm just a person who's better than a perfectionist. I'm better than who I am. I'm better than what I do. And that's it. I just stick to the better side of life. I realize that life's going to knock you down when you've got nothing to do. I've got something to do every single day. And that's why I have a Mega Drive. And I have this Mega Drive where I have an About Me section. And it explains my life about where I travel, I mean, about where I travel, and my funny videos, and my photos, and random photos, and just random conversations I have in a day, and my quotes, and my videos, and my audios. It's all going up inside one social media. I have just one social media. I don't need 50 million social medias. I just have one. I have to be myself. I understand. I feel I lack nothing. I never lack in my feelings. I never lack anything in my feelings. I see that clearly now, as Dr. Wayne Dyer says. I don't lack anything. I feel though that sometimes I do lack. And what do I lack? I lack the ability to persuade myself to grow. I lack nothing though. I need to understand I never lack my ability to grow. I realize that I realize it's not that. I realize what it is. I realize that it's really insecurities around women. I can picture it already. I can see it's a woman. I can see it's a woman. I realize that like she's gonna help me do something. I realize it's like she's gonna help me to do something. I have to speak better too. I realize it's not like anything. I realize that I have to understand to be on my toes about my communication. I feel scared to speak in a way that's gonna disrupt me. I realize that's my ego that's scared. I feel scared to drop and fail. Although guess what, that's my ego again. I realize that's not me. I can fail. I can fail, although I learn from it. I realize that ego just fails and never learns. I'm not stupid. I apologize, Daddy. I realize that this world doesn't like you. And guess what? I didn't care. I didn't care because guess what? I love myself. I love myself. I just need myself and that's it. I just need Jesus and that's it. I have Jesus now. I realize that when I need myself, I just need Jesus more. I realize that this woman, I feel I've got nothing against them, although I understand that they're too much in my head and they're too much in my mind. I realize how do I get across in a way that I can overcome them, in a way that I never have to lack them, is I have to stay away from them. I have to stay away from them as much as possible. I have to stay away from people and sex and pleasure. I never stay away from myself. I go into myself. I never stay away from myself. I go inside. I go into Jesus. I see Jesus today and I say, I've lost nothing because I see the information of Jesus Christ and I understand my mentors are posting videos and 5 hours of content every single day. And guess what? I realize sometimes I have to catch up. I'm always catching up to more information. Although guess what? I look at Jesus and I have all the information. I've got nothing to catch up to anymore. I realize that all I'm doing now is I'm becoming better than yesterday. How? I realize I'm doing this. I'm doing insecurity work. I talk about my lack all day long now. I write my lacks down. I have to write the lack down because that's a problem. I have to stay away from problems. I mean, what do I lack now? I have to speak constantly about what do I lack. I mean, I see women again. I see that drive me I realize that drive me nuts. I realize that it's not even them that's doing that. I realize it's the ego. I realize that it's just in my mind. I realize the ego is saying you must have a woman. And you must have a woman. And you must have a woman. Well, I didn't care about them. I mean, I care about them. I don't need them in life. I don't need them around me. Unless too many people are going attached to people. I never need to be attached to people. I love to be alone. I love to be alone. I don't need to be around people. I need to be around Jesus, and that's it. Whereas when I say that, I lost. Although, guess what? I never lose my eye. I never lose my eye because guess what? I need to be around myself to be around Jesus. I realized that Jesus would say, yes, you need to be around yourself first so you can be around Jesus. I need you all, though, to be a person who's a divine being and put yourself first, although understand that Jesus is first. I promise you, Jesus will say, yes, because guess what? You need to put yourself first. And Jesus says, I never need you to cut your eye out. I love you. I love you. I never need you to cut your eye out. Although, just make sure you need a mentor, and the best mentor is Jesus. So put him first. And just understand to put yourself first with Jesus. And that's what I do. I hear Jesus saying, yes. I mean, when you put yourself first, you just make sure you're putting God first too. I mean, it's the best way. I mean, what do you like now, Danny? I see Ferraris, I see Formula 1 cars. I don't know why. I don't know why do I like that. I like nothing in my life. I have my eye intent. I'm still alive. I'm still alive. I mean, how can I lack when I'm alive? I mean, how can I lack anything? I'm alive today. I mean, how is it possible to lack something? I mean, it's an illusion to lack anything. You have to talk it out with yourself. You have to talk everything out and just give content like this. I mean, what else do you lack, Danny? You lack a horse. I don't know why that. Because guess what? I mean, that's the ego that's lacking that. I don't need a horse. I don't need a Formula 1 car. I'm honest about this. I'm honest because the ego is just throwing all this rubbish at me. And I have to topple it. And I have to understand to overcome the ego this way. And how do I do that? I go find out what the ego lacks. I go do that. And then I say, you know,